Shields up, Iron Breakers. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you're all doing good. Today we're going to be talking about some of our concerns with Monster Hunter Wilds. Before we begin though, I feel that it is important to mention that, look, I'm super hyped about Monster Hunter Wilds. None of these things I think is going to be a massive deal breaker. We shall see what it's like when the game actually releases, the things we like, the things that we don't like. But before we get there, I have noticed that there's a lot of concerns on the community and that we should talk about those. Khan can't help being late ever. True. Big true, brother. Big true, brother. What did you say was a deal breaker? Nothing. None of the concerns that I personally have are a deal breaker, but I feel like this is something that we can talk about and we can see what is everybody's concern, see where everybody's at, and see which ones we consider to be the most important concerns. Also, before we begin, let me just bring up Stream Elements. Because I did see that there was a membership right before I started the stream. Bro, I swear to God, dude, friggin' Stream Elements is just dropping the ball so hard. I need to get rid of this. Anyway, I know it was Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright, thank you very much for being grossly incandescent for, I think it was 16 or 12 months or something like that. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support, and thank you for letting me know that there's a new trailer for a new update on No Man's Sky. Yami Florence, thank you very much for being grossly incandescent for 40 months. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed the Gamescom coverage. And also, Caster Blade, thank you very much for being grossly incandescent for 39 months. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So, let's talk about some of these concerns. So my idea here is, first I'm going to tell you guys about my concerns, and then you guys can tell me about whether or not you agree with some of the concerns that I have, and we can talk about them. And then we'll talk about all of your concerns, which apparently there's a lot, considering that I posted something on the community page yesterday, and that just so happened to have gotten over 800 goddamn comments. You know what I'm saying? Eladrian, thank you very much for becoming grossly incandescent. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. So, let's talk about this. My first concern, difficulty. I am a little bit concerned about the difficulty. 100%. And that is probably my main concern right now. Because we have the companions, SOS, and stuff like that. I'm wondering, is that going to affect the scaling of the monsters? This is something that we haven't really gotten answers for. I could have asked it during the interview, but I suspect that we weren't really going to get a good answer for that one. So I opted not to. There are other concerns in regards to the multiplayer side of things that I'm also a little bit hesitant on. But the number one is definitely the difficulty. And it's not just because of the companions. The companions is like one aspect of it, right? The other aspect is, I'm looking back at Rise Village. I don't want to see Rise Village again. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to see that again. I don't know if you guys agree with me or not, but like, Rise Village, bro, it's like you'd go in there with like a crappy weapon and you just like slap a monster once, you break every part, his head falls off, you're just like, oh no, I didn't mean to hit you that hard. I don't know what happened. Oops. You know, that's kind of like Rise Village. Rise Village had no challenge to it whatsoever. Now, I understand, you know, you want to have the village be kind of like an entry point for somebody that has never played the series. But I think that making it that easy can also be a detriment for people that have never played the series, because they're not really going to know, oh, is this the difficulty of the game? This is actually a pretty easy game, you know? And the thing is, right, by the time you get to the end, of Rise and you start getting 2.0 and 3.0, stuff starts getting hard. Stuff starts getting at a good level of challenge with the hazard quests and all of these things that we got near the end. And then obviously when you get to Sunbreak and you get to Anomaly, stuff gets really crazy, right? Cool. All good. But the thing to me is, I want to feel that difficulty earlier in the game. I want to feel that friction earlier in the game. Do you think switch skills also made it way easier too? No, I think you might be confusing switch skills with Silkbind attacks. Silkbind stuff I could maybe consider on certain weapons, making it, you know, also having a decent effect on difficulty. Wirefall is definitely something that I didn't like. I've always said, people have always asked me, Rurikhan, if you could change one thing about Monster Hunter Rise, what would it be? I'd take away Wirefall. I would take away your Wirefall, 100%. That'd be number one on my list of changes that I would do for Rise and Sunbreak. I'd take away your Wirefall. I'm an evil man, and that's exactly what I'd do. I'd be an evil man and take away your Wirefall. In terms of difficulty, I fear that nature seems to mainly aid us, the players, instead of impeding us. I want wilderness to actually make a hunt a bit more difficult, potentially, not just aid us. That's a good point. I mean, I think that we still have a lot to see in that regard because of the inclemency period and all of this stuff and how that's going to affect us. But you are right, like small monsters attacking the big monsters in the middle of the hunt, that is an advantage to us. And obviously having traps that fall on top of the monsters, maybe we should have other traps that could damage us as well. We do have some of that in the inclemency period in the form of lightning, which if lightning hits you, it hurts you. So, you know, there's a lot of stuff there. Basel, Goose, and Rajang were made kind of easier because of wire bugs. Yeah. But we will see in terms of difficulty, but I think most people agree with me in terms of difficulty. The other concern that I have, which is also kind of like tied to difficulty, is the animation canceling. Apparently, there's a lot of animation canceling happening, and one of the things that I don't know is whether or not that animation canceling is intended. Stuff like, you know, the Spirit Helmbreaker on Longsword, you can just straight up cancel that. You can just, you know, roll out of that. In the case of the Gun Lance, one of the ones that I've noticed was long reload. You can block out of it, so you can animation cancel long reload. Not the entirety of the animation, but you can make it end way faster by blocking out of it. And I believe that likely other weapons also had animation canceling features, considering what I've seen for the Gun Lance and the Longsword and so on and all of that stuff. So, again, I don't know if that is intentional, but that is another one of my concerns. I don't want too much animation canceling. I want us to have to commit, okay? I want us to have to get married to these animations. That's the way that I personally look at it. So, you know. Insect Lave also does have an animation canceling tool in the form of recalling Kinsect. Yeah, that's what I would have expected. I would have expected that Wilds probably has a ton of those. But like I said, this is still a fairly early build, so I'm not 100% sure if these things are intended or not. So we'll see. Mid-air sheath longsword is hilariously broke. Yeah, that's not surprising to me. A lot of people have been talking about that. So we'll see. Did the devs mention anything about Steam Deck support? No, not yet, Ashfields. It's way too early. But thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. So yeah, I don't know if it's going to have Steam Deck support. I'm sure they'll aim for it. But it is an extremely demanding game, so I'm not sure how high up their priority list that is going to be. Was World made with the same engine? No. World was made with MT Framework engine, which I don't even know what other games they use that engine on, but Monster Hunter World was not made with RE engine. It was a different engine, so this is a different engine. Animation canceling is fine. I think we can already roll cancel everything. No, you can't. You can't roll cancel everything in Monster Hunter. Not the way that you can do it now. The way that you can do it in Wilds, no, trust me, it's very, very different. Very, very different. Yeah, like Black Mamba is saying, commitment is a concern because you're able to turn on a dime with focus mode. Focus mode does make it easier for you to target monsters. Although I'm not concerned about focus mode making it an easy mode per se. It just makes things more intuitive if you're able to adapt to focus mode. You're able to maintain your thing with the monster, but it's like if you're able to course correct so many animations using focus mode, I don't think you should be able to animation cancel out of those animations. I think you need to be committed to those animations. That's the way that I look about it, but I know that different people might have different opinions on that. All animation cancel is fine, but only with lower DPS moves. Yeah, Spirit Helmbreaker is not a low DPS move, and you're able to animation cancel out of that. Reloading on a gun lance is not even a DPS move at all, and you're able to animation cancel early out of it with a block. So, I don't know. You know, that's the thing. In before, all the monsters are much faster in the real game, and people will still complain. See, that's the thing. The more we do these animation cancels and, you know, being able to turn camera around on a dime and all that stuff, the more we basically up the tempo on our hunters, the more Capcom will feel the need to up the tempo on the monsters as well. And then eventually you end up with some monsters that are like crack cocaine addicts like we had in Sunbreak, that are just like dishing out one-shots like it's going out of fashion. Not the best of experience. I want methodical hunts. That's the thing, which is why one of the things that I wanted for Wilds was slow the tempo. Slow the tempo of everything. Okay? We have the faster version in Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak, and now we should have one that like slows it down, brings it back down. So that's the way that I look at things, which is why animation canceling is one of my concerns. You have to factor in the monster's movements in Wilds, which you don't know much yet. Yeah, which is why I'm saying I want them to be slower. Arctic Dark, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. Evade Lancing? Yes, Evade Lancing. So, the other one that I have here is my concern about multiplayer incentive due to the fact that people now have companions. I do feel that companions is good. Being able to have companions is a good thing, especially for people that don't like to play in multiplayer. But I also feel like there's going to be a lot of people that would have engaged in multiplayer out of necessity that will likely not engage in multiplayer because they now have summonable companions. I'm concerned that Gunlance might end up good. Miss Atomic Eagles, tip of the hat, appreciate the support. Thank you. I don't think we have to concern ourselves about that. I think that'll be fine. But yeah, it's like I've always felt that one of the cool things about playing GU, for instance, with Kegrin and Wada, is because we needed to play together. Because if we didn't play together, it would be boring. The hunts would just take way too long, so we'd play together and the hunts would still be challenging. That's kind of where I want to go back to, because I kind of feel like in both World and Rise, if you bring 4 players, a lot of the hunts end up just being a beatdown fest. You just go up to the monster, you beat on it until it stops moving, and, you know, the monsters don't really have a lot of fighting chances. Whereas in GU, maybe it was because it was just 3 of us instead of 4 of us, but I didn't really feel like the hunts were as much of a beatdown. There was a necessity to group up in G rank, and that was cool. Now, the thing is, I understand this is not going to be for everyone, because a lot of people just prefer to play by themselves, and for that, the companions are great, but I'm still hoping there's, like, some type of incentive to play multiplayer instead of just, you know, oh, I can just use companions, and that just replaces multiplayer, you know? That's the way that I look at it. Fulminus, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support. Thank you. Thank you for bringing these concerns about the combat pacing and difficulty. I hope they really slow things down too, especially now that I'm getting old. Yeah, the purpose of this video is also like I want to gather a list of like 10 things that we're all concerned about. So we're going to have, by the time we reach closer to the end of the stream, we're going to have like a massive straw poll with a bunch of concerns from you guys for us to vote on so that we can kind of like choose which ones are the most important concerns that people have and whatnot, right? So that's kind of where I'm at least in Jew, the hub quest that increase HP, solo, or multiplayer. Exactly. Companions are cool, but I don't think it can replace multiplayer. One of the benefits of multiplayer is that you can grind out quests pretty quick. Well, most of the time. Well, yeah, but it depends on how good the companions are, which their intention is to make companions really good. And at which point, if you can just have companions and monsters' HPs don't scale, which I don't know if that is the case or not, but if you can have companions and monster HP doesn't scale, I think that will be a problem because a decent chunk of the player base will just be like, yep, companion up, let's go, murder everything, super fast. Like, I don't want companions to be the most efficient way of hunting, if that makes sense. I don't think companions should ever be the most efficient way of hunting. Companions is a way of hunting for when you want to hunt and listen to a podcast or watch something on Netflix at the same time or something like that. That's when you bring in the companions. But if you actually want to be, you know, doing good hunts and stuff like that, I don't want companions to be the best way of doing it, if that makes sense. I'm worrying the companions will be necessary. I don't think they will be. Like, from the difficulty, when I played solo without using companions, I think it was fine. I just summoned companions near the end. I will swap to the big screen once we go to community concerns. Right now, we're just talking about my concerns. Don't worry about it. You're fine. You're good. You're not missing out on anybody. The only thing the screen is showing is old dev streams. Don't forget that the demo monsters were likely low rank. True. From what you said, I understand you haven't played much multiplayer in Iceborne. What? I did play a bunch of multiplayer in Iceborne. What do you mean? I played a bunch of multiplayer in Iceborne. I had like all massive lobbies in Iceborne that we would do, particularly for the sieges and stuff. We did tons of multiplayer in Iceborne. I didn't play a lot of multiplayer in Sunbreak. In Sunbreak, I didn't. This is like the support system in Dawntrail? Yeah, something like that. Do companions have fixed weapons and armor, or will we be able to change those? We don't know enough about companions yet, but I would assume they have fixed weapons and armor. I thought it was high rank because Rei Dao would drop a gem and Doshigumas gave Fur Plus. Yeah, but you can't like, listen, anything that you see on that early build, don't take anything seriously. Like damage numbers, those don't matter. Monster HP, those don't matter. Like, you can't take a whole lot of the stuff in the build seriously, especially when it comes to drops and stuff like that, because that's not really something that they've given proper thought to, I would imagine. Red Beard, thank you very much for being gross. And as a long beard, you Giga Chad, tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Wonder if we're going to get Godzilla-like monsters like Lao Shanlong, Sharaden, Delamadors, or Magdaros again. I would expect to see at least one or two of those. Yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping it's a sand whale. Like either it's a new sand whale or a turning sand whale. We need to get a sand whale, dude. With that starting cutscene, they can't do us dirty like that. Is the hit confirmed satisfying at all? Yes, it is very satisfying. I don't know why you would think that it is. It might be because the quality of some of the footage is not great, particularly in the live streams. It is a little bit blurry and stuff, doesn't really convey stuff all that well. But like, even with, if you guys watch one of the videos that Rage Gaming put out, that Hollow recorded, you can actually see Doshiguma's butt jiggling while he's going all out on his ass with dual blades. Yeah, Genran or the Ranmaran. I hope so. How do you feel about what they did to tracking is making it only a one-time thing? I don't know. I'll have to experience that actually in game, because if you look at World, even though it's not a one-time thing, it almost is, because after a certain point you just know enough. So I don't know. I'm still conflicted on the tracking, because I do like tracking a lot. I almost wish paintballs would make a return. I know that people don't like paintballs, which is why I didn't even put that on my list of concerns, but I almost wish that paintballs would make a return. I think it'd be really cool if they did. Yeah, unfortunately, I think that the ship has sailed when it comes to the what am I call restocking. When it comes to restocking, I think that ship is sailed. What do you guys want? More new monsters or returning ones? More new monsters. It will be a chore, and it's good that it's a one-time thing. I disagree. I think that tracking needs to be a system that is integrated into the game, and it is not something that becomes trivial over time. I don't think that tracking should be trivialized over time, but that's my opinion. Restocking and free sacred is too much. Yeah, that's another one of the things that I will bring up is obviously the sharpening. But yeah, so those are some of the concerns that I have about, you know, how much multiplayer is going to be, you know, impacted with the presence of companions. How many players are going to feel like, oh, I'll just use my companion instead of doing multiplayer, right? The other thing is, how is multiplayer going to work with the new story design that the team is going for, right? Because we know that the team said there's an even bigger emphasis on story this time around. And I'm very curious to see what the implications are going to be for multiplayer based around that. Because if people have to wait for cutscenes and stuff like that, I already know there's going to be a ton of complaints. Now, this is not something that is super huge to me. It is just something that I see as a more overall community concern that people have for Monster Hunter Worlds. People want to be able to just join their friends the first time they go into a hunt, and they don't give a fuck about cutscenes. Like, I feel what Capcom should do, they just give players the option to skip the cutscenes, and then it's like, you need all 4 players to hit start, and then you can skip the cutscene. That's the way that I would look at it. And again, this is not something that's going to affect me, because I'm always going to watch all the cutscenes. I want to know what the story is. I actually really liked the first story mission that I did when I was at Gamescom. I thought it was really cool. So I want to see more of that, and I'm totally interested, but I can understand that it's not for everybody. Not everybody likes those things, and that's fine. Also, Inquisitor Reed, thank you very much for the Souls tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. There were paintballs back in the form of paint pots. We don't know what they're for yet. Yeah, I know. I've seen those as well, but we don't know what they're for. Did you try the secret wirefall move? How was it? Thank you very much for the Souls Ashfields tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Thank you. It's not really a wirefall move. I don't think you're even invincible while Sacred is picking you up. So for starters, there's a big delay on it before, you know, you whistle, then Sacred comes around, picks you up, and all that stuff. I wouldn't really call it a wirefall move. I can understand why people call it that, because the way that it was shown in one of the trailers, it makes sense that that is what you would assume. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be nearly as powerful as wirefall. But yeah. With all the maintenance in-game already, I think more busy work like paintballs is not a good thing in my opinion. What maintenance? The only maintenance we have right now, really? Actually, we don't have any, because you can just call Sacred and do everything from Sacred whilst running laps around the monster. There's actually no maintenance right now, because you can just ride Sacred, sharpen, eat, heal, do everything whilst being 100% safe from the monster. I suspect that further ahead, they're going to add mechanics where monsters will be able to dismount you, and that might cause like a cooldown with Sacred, very much the same way that, say, when your Palicos get downed, you know, there'll be something like that, and then Sacred will go on a cooldown or something like. But in this current build, there's no maintenance during the hunt. You just ride Sacred, heal, eat, sharpen, all of that stuff. So yeah. Maybe some monsters scare the Sacred. That might be the case. No more crafting ammo. There is crafting of ammo, but that was reduced because normal ammo, piercing ammo, scatter ammo, all of that is infinite. And based on the level of your gun. So you only have to craft like elemental ammo and probably, I assume, stickies and stuff like that. Probably slicing ammo you'll have to craft as well, but normal ammo is straight up infinite. This is definitely going to Capcom. Maria's Capcom shill now. What do you mean now? I've always said I'm biased towards Monster Hunter. I've never made this a secret, even before I had a relationship with Capcom. What if the player received reduced rewards in multiplayer hunts if companions were taken with them? Tip of the hat. Thank you very much, JXKV. Appreciate the support. I mean, that could be a way of balancing it, but again, if you don't reduce the monster HP, it probably will still be the fastest way to farm. If you don't increase the monster HP, I mean, by bringing in companions, but I don't know. Ricard, thank you very much for being grossing contestant for 8 months. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Thank you. How long does the meal last? 50 minutes if you use 3 ingredients. If you only use 1 ingredient, it was 20 minutes. I don't remember how long it was if you only used 2. I think it was like, it goes like 20, 30, 50, if I'm not mistaken. 20, 30, 50. Again, this is me, you know, just trying to remind myself of what I saw when I was making the meals. So I could be a little bit wrong. You're the borderline Capcom intern. True. But it's like, the thing is, you guys need to see this a little bit different, because a lot of people like to say shill. It's like, you need to see this as more, I will basically instantly tell people at Capcom directly how I feel about the game. So like, for instance, when the Lost Code weapons happen, I instantly told Jono, this is some bullshit. I don't like this at all. I instantly told him, I was like, hey, look, I don't like this at all. I just want to let you guys know, I don't like it, and a majority of my community doesn't like it either, okay? We don't appreciate this. This kind of sucks. So that's the way that you might want to look at it. Did you think Cowboy's concerns about Insect Glaive being low tier are going to be a problem for the weapon? I don't know. Weapon balancing is going to be very hard to figure out right now. I think that Insect Glaive mains are not going to like what I'm about to say, by the way. Jason Wallace just started playing 4 Ultimate. Thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. I know that a lot of Insect Glaive mains are not going to like what I have to say right now. I think that getting rid of the helicopter is a good thing for the Insect Glaive. I think that getting rid of the helicopter is a good thing for the Insect Glaive, okay? And let me tell you why. There were many times during Monster Hunter World and World Iceborne where I straight up just said, I don't want to deal with this monster's bullshit. I'm going to grab the Insect Glaive. 100%, dude. I just straight up, yep. You know, all those, like, for instance, what was his face? Arch-Tempered Nergigante? Bro, Arch-Tempered Nergigante ain't got shit on Insect Glaive. He's got like one move that will get you. One move. If you take Insect Glaive against Arch-Tempered Nergigante, there's literally one move that can fuck you. One. So it's like, yeah. Arch-Tempered Xeno, same thing. Oh, I don't want to deal with Arch. Go see my Arch-Tempered Xeno kill. See which weapon I used. Hell yeah. I was like, oh, I don't want to deal with this bullshit. Insect Glaive. And it's not fair for the other weapons. Ray, please tell me about failing quests. Is there a penalty? I don't fail quests, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't... Like, you need to understand, I had a limited time to play the game. I'm not going to fail a quest on purpose to see, like, oh, let me see what happens if I fail a quest. It's like... I mean, come on. I had very limited time to play the game at Gamescom. I wasn't about to fail quests on purpose. But yeah, that's the way that I look at the Insect Glaive losing the helicopter move. And by the way, I'm an Insect Glaive enjoyer. I love Insect Glaive. I think Insect Glaive is a great weapon. I love playing Insect Glaive. You want to know? There was actually one time where I had to tell Kegrin to stop playing Aerial Glaive because he was getting us killed in Extremoth. Because we couldn't see the Charybdis as he was flying through the air. That was annoying. You can fail, criminal. There is a cart limit because when I carted, it would tell me 2 carts left. So you can fail quests. There is a cart limit. Instead of removing it, they should have made it even more aerial. I think you got plenty of ways to avoid things still with Insect Glaive without needing the helicopter. I think the helicopter was too powerful, even though it didn't deal that much damage. But for avoiding mechanics, it was busted. It was. Like, you can not agree and that's fine. But that's just where I stand with it. So I think it will actually be good for the weapon to become more grounded, because now Capcom can actually give it more damage. But, you know, it is what it is. Now, my other concern, like I was talking about multiplayer with story objectives, I think that that is going to be something that we'll need to keep an eye on. My other concern is skill overload. Listen, guys. I don't know about you guys. I don't want no friggin' 10 pages of skills. All right? Ms. and Jamal, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. What was that? For the Insect Glaive new profession, let them helicopter on the pole instead of the sky. True. But yeah, it's like, look, the skill bloat in Sunbreak, I never want to see skill bloat again. Bring back negative skills. We can put that. We can put that on concerns. Sure. Bring back... Actually, no. Let's make a poll for that. Let's see where you guys stand on that. There's 1,300 of you here right now. Negative skill. Do you want negative skills? Yes or no? Let's see it. Let's see what the community has to say. I would like to have negative skills. I don't think that's ever coming back, though. The skill system that they're using in the demo, in the build that I played, that would not support negative skills. I don't see it ever happening. What is negative skills? Can you explain, Rurikhan? Yes. So think of it like this. Back in the olden days of Monster Hunter, in order for you to activate a skill, you would have to take that skill up to level 10. So you would have like, oh, this armor piece gives 3 to this skill. Then you get another armor piece that would give 2. Then you get another armor piece that would give 4. You know, and so on and so forth. And you had to stack it up to 10 to get level 1. And then it would depend on the skill. Some skills would be 10 level 1, 20 level 2. Other ones would be 10 level 1, 15 level 2, 20 level 3, stuff like that. So you would have to stack it up. And then what would happen is certain pieces that would give you certain skills would also give you negative skills. To counteract the fact that you're getting this skill, you're losing something else. So an example of this would be sometimes things that would give you critical eye would also give you negative attack. To offsets, like you get more crits, but it's going to be harder to reach attack up, you know? Or you would have, like, say, for instance, Razor Sharp, you would get that, but that would take away from Handicraft, or vice versa. You'd get Handicraft, and that would take away from Razor Sharp. So mixing skills was way more important. Wow, this is perfectly balanced. Do you want negative skills? We have 500 votes. Half of you guys actually say yes. Actually, 51% say yes. 49% say no. Damn! Damn, dude! Like, listen, me personally, I'm a negative skill enjoyer. I think that negative skills is really cool. I think it is. Because it's unique. Like, a lot of these games end up being about you, how many things can I stack? And by the end, the power creep is just through the fucking roof. There's like, it's Fatalis set in Iceborne. That's the power creep levels, right? So if you're actually able to balance things out in a way where it's like, no, there's a downside to stacking critical eye. There's a downside to stacking too much. You're influencing the vote? What do you mean I'm influencing the vote? I'm asking you guys. I'm just saying where I stand. I think negative skills are cool. I'm not going to push back on my opinion. I think negative skills are cool. People feel free to vote however they want. It's like, listen, guys, this vote is inconsequential. I want you to understand. I highly doubt we'll ever see negative skills in Monster Hunter ever again. This is just, for me, getting a vibe check on the community. Negative skills give character to a monster as well. Exactly. Adds more personality instead of just reducing the game to a number crunching simulator. Exactly. Ashfields, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Yeah, downsides for weakness exploit. But again, keep that in mind. Regarding difficulty, Rurikhan, I read somewhere they're aiming for World's difficulty. World was also not that hard. After you know what you're doing, World is pretty easy. Red Devil, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. If Monster Hunter Team asks you to add anything like monster weapon skills to Wild, what would it be? If I was allowed to add anything, I'd rather remove something. If I was allowed to influence one thing in Monster Hunter Wilds, people will hate me for this. If I was allowed to influence one thing in Monster Hunter Wilds, I would take away your fucking restock. No restocking! For anyone! Nobody gets restocking. That'd be number one on my list. That would be number one. If Capcom be like, Rurikhan, you get to choose one thing to change in this game, I'd be like, all right, nobody gets to restock. Done. Done. No restock for nobody. Thaisia, thank you very much for becoming grossly incandescent. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Make a poll? Sure. I mean, we're 50-50 pretty much on negative skills, which is interesting. 50-50 on negative skills. Let's see where we stand on restocking. Should restocking mid-hunt... And by the way, when I say restocking, I'm talking full restock, because I'm still down for the extra supplies that we used to have in the old games. I don't know if you guys remember, in the old games you'd get extra supplies. That's also going to be a thing here. Arctic Dark, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Thank you. Negative skills are okay if the UIs and menus are good. When I'm talking about restocking, I'm talking about full infinite restock, having access to your whole equipment. That's what I'm saying. Extra supplies, I think that's fair. I liked extra supplies back in the day. Hell, I can even get down with some restocking in the style that we had in GU, which I don't know if you guys know, but in GU we did have restocking. You could order Palicos to like shoot these missile drops into the zone and they would land randomly and then you could go and pick up extra supplies. I'm A-okay with that. When I'm talking about restocking, I'm talking about infinite restocking, going into a tent and just basically changing your whole build, changing everything about the hunt. I don't like that. So should restocking mid-hunt be a thing? That's the restocking that I'm talking about. Let's see where you guys land. No restocking, then don't restock. It's not arbitrary. Why do we need to make things complicated? Exactly. Why do we need to make things complicated? We just remove it. It's not complicated at all. It's quite easy, actually. We just remove it. Then nobody has to do it. The reason why is because oftentimes monsters will be balanced around the fact that you can restock. That's the problem. And monsters shouldn't be balanced around the fact that you can restock. What about a happy medium where you have your inventory and a supply cache in a tent with only a few slots? That's what I said. That is the extra supplies thing that we used to have in the old games. Evgeny, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support. Don't mind restock. Do mind mounting mid-combat, though. It's very easy to abuse in Rise Break. Yup. Sean Lee, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support. Wonder what will happen regarding Defender gear. Came to Iceborne and Sunbreak. I hope not there, but it's hoping. It will come. It will come when they release the expansion. That's just the thing that we've come to expect. We always get the Defender gear. Rurikhan, so would you remove Farcasters too? Yeah. I mean, actually, it doesn't matter if you remove Farcasters. If you can't resupply, you can Farcaster. It doesn't bother me at all. You can Farcaster back to your tent, you know, make some... But I'm talking like old school tents where what you have is your bed and your supplies stash. That's what you have in the old games. That's fine. We boomer hunters restock by foraging the field. Exactly. I'd rather lose a hunt because of a lack of skill than a lack of resources. Forage! The resources are there! You can get herbs in every map in the game. You can get herbs and you can get honey in every map of the game. And you should be thankful because back in the day, we had to get herbs and blue mushrooms and honey. Nowadays, all we need is herbs and honey, and that's in every single Monster Hunter map. You don't run out of resources. The resources are there. You just go pick them up. Just go pick them up. It's that easy. Back in my day. Game didn't become popular by going back on quality of life updates. Okay. I mean, look, again, I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm telling you how I feel about it. Wait, people go back and get items from the tent? Yeah. Back in my day, we had limited whetstones. Okay, we don't have to go that far back. Limited whetstones was kind of pointless. Because you could carry so much of them that it didn't really matter. You wouldn't run out of whetstones during a hunt. So... Mushroom-mancer new meta. Hey, it would give more value to the skill. Baba Ganoush, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate the support. Yes. Thank you. But yeah, looks like people actually... A majority of people don't want restocking. My, how the times have changed. I remember a long time ago... where when I asked this question, people told me to go pound sand. It was more like 70-30 in favor of yes. How the times have changed. It's like what Asmongold likes to say. There are things that I'm right about, and there are things that I will be right about, that I will be proven right about in the future, or something like that. How would they balance monsters around restocking? Look at Fatalis. Trying to do Fatalis solo without, Fatalis gear for an average player? Without restocking? Good fucking luck. Good luck. Again, for an average player. Then only have one meal per hunt. Lets you redoing a hunt because you didn't get Bombardier. Miz and Jamal, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. And yeah, I have done that plenty of times. Hell, Bombardier shouldn't even be a random skill to get. I want to ask Alma for fetch the items and bring them back to Camp or Sacred. Thank you very much for the souls, Fulminus. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Alma does fetch items for you already. That's already a mechanic in the game. Rurikhan, can you explain what offsetting is? I keep hearing that in your current podcast. Thank you in advance. Okay, offset attacks. So you have your clashes, which is when the monster clashes with you, like what we have over here. This is a monster clash, right? The whole thing where you bring up the greatsword, you block the monster's attack, and then you're like clashing with it. That's a clash attack. Offset is when you see in the first trailer when they do that upswing with the greatsword and it sends the monster flying back mid-attack. That's an offset attack. And not every weapon has offset attacks. Gathering has gotten so easy. Half the difference between restocking and gathering the items. Gathering the items back would be that of a few minutes, so why wouldn't you let peeps restock? Because it's more immersive if you don't. Imagine if somebody fires a flash pod during a clash. Can you? I don't even know if you can do that. But yeah. So it looks like a majority of you don't want restocks, but it's also very close. It's 56-44. So, I didn't put restock in my major concerns because restocking is going to be there. It doesn't matter if we like it or not. I can already confirm that restocking is there in the build that we've played. You can just go there, restock infinitely whenever you want. Hell, you can place down camps and restock on the spot, just like that, so long as it's a spot where you can put down a camp. So restocking is currently in the game and will likely be featured in the final version of the game. Yes, I am, Mike. It's going to be fun later today. We're going to be playing that. I mean, it's basically open world now. How should it work otherwise? Simple. When you initiate the hunt, you can no longer restock until that hunt is over. It's very easy. Are you in an active hunt right now? No restocking. Hunt is over, go back to camp, restock, and then start a new hunt. Did you hear anything about having an offline mode in Wilds? Yes, you can play entirely offline, Lightning Woo. The developers never said that the game was going to be always online. I'm like 99% sure that you can play it offline. I think you're perfectly safe there. You don't have to worry about that. I want Alma to pull out a bowgun or something. I don't think that's happening. What do you think about guard skill, since all weapons with shield weapons can perfect guard with very easy windows? I think it was about goddamn time. Because I've said it multiple times that guarding, at least in Sunbreak, was actually punishing. Guarding, like a lot of people made it seem like, oh, you're complaining about the longsword's counterattack. You can just block everything. And I was like, you say that like it's a good thing. Counterattacking is good because you counterattack. So the attack comes, you avoid it 100%, with, by the way, no skill investment whatsoever. And then you get to do damage on the fact that, on top of the fact that you just completely nullified the damage of an attack. Blocking, you get sent reeling back, you take chip damage, and you're not in a position to, you know, counterattack offensively. So the fact that we now get to counter with blocking, it's about time. It's about time. Blocking was a disadvantage. 100%. Like, let me tell you right now, anybody who doesn't think that blocking in Sunbreak was a disadvantage wasn't playing a blocking weapon. 100%. So it's like, yeah. You don't need timing for blocking. Yes, now you do. If you want to get a perfect block, you need timing. And hell, I will trade needing timing for blocking in order to be able to get the advantages of being able to do a counterattack. So yeah, it's about time that blocking actually got put a little bit more on par with countering. As a lance main, and by the way, the lance is the best blocking weapon. So we have a lance main over there 100% agreeing with me, which lance is the best weapon for blocking. Let alone weapons that aren't as good as lance at blocking, like the charge blade or, you know, the gun lance. But even charge blade, you have your guard points that do lead into counters. So that's a different thing, but yeah. With perfect block, do you think the guard point of charge blade is still important? That's a weird one. I'm kind of like a little bit on the fence with that, because I didn't actually try perfect blocking with charge blade on account of the fact that my muscle memory would instantly go for guard points. Every time that like something would attack me with a charge blade, my muscle memory would be like guard point, guard point. So I never tested the perfect guards that much with charge blade. So I don't know what are the follow-ups for the charge blade yet. Offensive guard enjoyer. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, as I was saying, because we got way off track here. Skill overload. Do we agree that we got too many skills in Sunbreak? There was like 10 pages of skills all fully filled up, and it made a lot of skills kind of meaningless. Like, if everybody has critical eye, attack up 7, weakness exploit, critical boost, like if everybody has all of the big damage skills, do they even matter anymore? Right? Too many. Yeah, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. World is fine. I think that base world was fine. I think that Iceborne was also too much. Because once you got to Fatalis armor, it was insane. It was insane. I'm thinking like 5 skills. You get to max out 5 skills at the end of Wilds, and you get to max out 7 skills at the end of the G rank expansion for Wilds. Looks like we all agree on here. Less skills, more set bonuses. I can get down with that. I can fuck with that. Yeah, sure. Sure. Not Focka, thank you very much for becoming grossly incandescent. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. There was too much in Rise Sunbreak. Yeah, I agree. World and Iceborne was fine. The only issue was an Iceborne was Fatalis. Yeah, I guess. What's your opinion on Iceborne augments? Depends on which ones we're talking about. Like, the way that it worked in Iceborne... I even forget how augments in Iceborne worked. It's been so long. Because, like, I've recently done a playthrough of Iceborne, but we haven't gotten to the point where we start doing augments. Wasn't it the thing where you get a certain amount of points and then you can have, like, 3 points into attack and then 3 points into health or whatever it was? Was it that? I thought that was okay. But I don't want to go too deep into that type of stuff, because the problem is, once you start going after those minimal upgrades, you start diminishing your options of branching out into weapons. Like, for Sunbreak, for me personally, making a new set by the time we reached Anomaly and Curious Crafting and all of that, I was like, I'm not making a new set. It's not happening. We have one set for Gunlance, maybe like 2 or 3 sets for Gunlance. That's it. We're not making a set for a different weapon, because there'll be like 300 hours of grind, and we're not doing that. So, you know, that's the way that I looked at that. Baba Ganoush, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support. Thank you. I think the fully open world will force players to build more well-rounded builds instead of damage-only ones, especially with 2 types of weapons. We'll see. Hey, Not Focka. Just finished work for the day. Happy to have your stream to keep me company. Hey, thank you for being here, dude. Appreciate you. Health augment should exist like Bloodlust and Rise. I think that health augment was actually a bad idea, because it was so important that everybody would take it. When you have an augment that is so important that literally everybody takes it over everything else, I think that that's too much. You should never have that one augment that's like, nope, everybody will take this augment. It's like, that means that you haven't balanced your other augments appropriately, in my opinion.
If only I...
Ainer, thank you very much for becoming grossly incandescent. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. What do you think about some weapons being 10 times less popular than others? Do they need extra attention from devs, or is this still okay? You should ask for attention in those cases. Evgeny, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. I think that there's always going to be weapons that are less popular. The important thing is to ensure that those weapons are decently balanced with the other weapons, like they can keep up. That is what's important. Weapons don't need to be popular. They need to be balanced to some extent. We don't need to have perfect balance, but we should be within like 5 to 10% of damage between different weapons, depending on what other advantages they bring into the field, you know, based on their playstyles and stuff like that. But I think that situations like the ones that we had, say, in Generations Ultimate, where Gunlance was so fucking bad, just like, it wasn't even viable in G rank unless we were just playing Slap Lance, at which point, why bother? Just play regular Lance. It's like, when you get to that point, that's when I'm like, all right, you fucked up. You need to figure this out, okay? But I don't think that popularity is something that they should be too concerned with, unless that popularity is also associated with weapon performance. That's the way that I look at it. Dumb comment, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support. Glad Capcom didn't hire to change the game. Me and my friends lived every quality of life changes. Restock gives you freedom, and I would hate if it's taken away. That's fine. That's fine. Like I said, my main thing is I want to bring community concerns to Capcom. I'm not going to go, you know, to Capcom and just be like, okay, guys, here's what my community thinks, and then I'll just lie about everything and be like, all the things that I want is what my community wants. I would never do that. So, you know. What do you think the end game will be? I have no idea. I have no idea what the end game is going to be. They're going to come up with something that I hope will be cool. Would be a perfect Monster Hunter. Thank you very much for the souls, my MB. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. For me, perfect Monster Hunter would be a combination of World, Rise, and GU. Grounded, no counters, power, fluidity, apex, anomaly, monsters, guild quests, switch skill combos, relics. That sounds like a ton of fun, especially with the story of 4U. because the story experience of For You was actually phenomenal. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what would be my perfect monster hunter. I think Wilds might be as close to my perfect monster hunter as it's reasonably achievable. Do you think you accurately represent the community? I seriously doubt it. Too many conflicting opinions. Just because I have conflicting opinions on certain things doesn't mean that I go behind my community's back and lie to Capcom. People at least felt that I represented their interests in the interview. So I hope I can continue to do that. But I'm going to be sincere with all the feedback that I provide back to them. Like, obviously we disagree, like we've talked about with restocking and negative skills. I'm not going to go over to Capcom and say, bro, everybody in my community says you guys need to bring negative skills back. It's like, I'm not going to do that. Thank you very much for the souls, Molo. Tip of the hat. Debate the return of World Rise Deco Charm System. Actually, after replaying World, I've warmed up to decorations being random more so than charms. The Kudo, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support, thank you. Listen, Khan's cast with Cowboy while hiking yesterday. Had to pause when you showed Cowboy the bracelet I gave you, made my day. Oh, you mean this one? Listen, I'm wearing this until it falls off. I'm wearing it until it falls off, okay? I'm just letting you know. I'm wearing it until it falls off. That's the way that it goes. So if it doesn't fall off, it just stays in there. It says Gunlance, dude. Come on. Fuck y'all. Charm farming was way worse. I mean, you don't have to be that aggressive about it, but yeah, have both of them be craftable, no RNG. I don't know if they'll do... Like, here's the thing. Where I stand right now, after having played Rise and Sunbreak, after having replayed recently World and Iceborne, I prefer decos. And I know that my mind has changed over the years. I prefer decos. I do. With some control, like what they added near the end in Iceborne, where I remember they let you craft some of the more important ones, like shield deco and stuff like that. But yeah, decoration is 0.1% chance. That's insane. Yeah, how many charms did you craft in Sunbreak before you got like one usable charm? Like, I have over 1,000 hours in Rise Sunbreak. I don't even know how many, because it's like 700 on my PC, then 700 on my Switch or whatever, because I played it on both. But like, on those 1,400 hours, never once did I get like, oh man, this is a god tier charm. Not once has that happened. The Bee Warrior, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate the support. Hope element damage is good in World. It sucked unless you have Colvey weapons. In Sunbreak it was good, but it was annoying to get the anomaly material to max out the build. They said they're looking into that, so I would expect that to be greatly improved. Ashfields, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support. Random charms work better with the old armor system where you needed to meet the thresholds to activate armor. Yeah. Exactly, I agree. Luca, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support. Do you feel that Gunlance does good damage in comparison? I only played Gunlance and Charge Blade pretty much. So I feel like worrying yourself too much about damage in regards to this build is going to be a fool's errand. I wouldn't worry about it at this point, and especially with the developers saying that, no, we've balanced out Gunlance to be way better this time around. I trust Tokuda-san to bring that one home. Thoughts on Greatsword having both an offset and a clash? It's a great weapon. Sounds great. I think that people are giving clashes and offset more value than it deserves. Like, yeah, they're great things to do, but it's not like they were dealing the most damage out of everything that you were doing. These are just ways to deal with the monster. And remember, there's still time for them to introduce new mechanics to the weapons that don't have either of those things. I mean, but I also think that it's a little bit unfair that people are like, oh, what about the Greatsword? It can do clashes and offset attacks. Oh yeah. What about the Longsword? It could spam Yai slash counters all day in Monster Hunter Rise. Nobody complained about that. That was fine. Let the Greatsword have its moment. Like, what the hell? I know Clash, what is offset? Offset is that upswing that they do with the greatsword in the first trailer, where the monster gets sent flying back with the upswing. That's an offset. Lunchbox mash score for skill Sunbreak was bloated and you have to strike a balance. Some weapons, like ones with negative affinity, require more skills to be worthwhile. Yeah, they have to balance it. Lane Lunchbox, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support. Likelihood of another Final Fantasy XIV crossover? Very likely, Molo. Tip of the hat, appreciate the support. It's very likely. I've heard comments recently of some people from Final Fantasy XIV talking about that. If they put invisible walls on camp to stop it from restocking, then Capcom has surely lost their way. Monster Hunter World sales should be enough to prove my point. Comment, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support. Thank you. Like I said, I don't believe they will do that. I don't know where this is even coming from. I don't think they'll do that. Like, we talked about it. I expressed that I would like that to not happen, but I don't think they'll do that. Longsword needs way more skill than Greatsword. Oh my god! I can't believe somebody said that! Oh no! Bro! Bro, I'm sorry, bro. You're bro, I can't. Bro, there's no way. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Oh man, that was a good one. Thank you. That was a good one. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's a good one, dude. No. I'm sorry. No. Just no. Dude. My man lends a yay. Yeah. My man lends what do you even call it? The yai spirit, yai slash, whatever. He landed one of those like, woo! Damn, that was hard. No, dude, no, it doesn't. It absolutely doesn't. Landing a true charge slash is way harder than landing a yai spirit slash. And it's not even close. Okay? It's not even close. Lance Bros without guard 5 dying to a single hit's chip damage listening to longsword players talking about skill. They both have a high skill ceiling though? No. Oh my god. A lot of people here have never played Greatsword, and it shows. By the way, I don't even play Greatsword. Okay? I don't even play Greatsword. But I've played both Longsword and Greatsword. It's not even close. Sorry. It's not even close. It's not even close, dude. No. Good lord. And the funny thing is, the longsword just does so much damage regardless of your skill level. It really does. At least back in like Rise Sunbreak and even World, regardless of your skill, it doesn't even matter because it just craps damage. It's like, bro, damage everywhere. Woo! Getting hit, don't care, damage. Let me tell you something. One of the reasons why Greatsword requires some of the most skill in Monster Hunter is because it is one of the weapons that requires the most knowledge about the monster because of the sheer animation commitment. Now, that might change in Monster Hunter Wilds on account of the fact that you can 180 your true charge slash. So in Wilds, it might be different. But up until this point, make no mistake, Greatsword is one of the weapons that requires the most skill to play. Because it requires knowledge of every single monster. Mayambe, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. Old school longsword is hard to master. I didn't play enough old school longsword, so I wouldn't know. You notice any chip damage changes on Lance? The monsters that we were fighting don't do chip damage. Maybe Raydao does some chip damage, but the monsters that I fought didn't really do that much chip damage, so it didn't really matter. Can't wait to see the 1080 degree flicking TCS on PC. Longsword can counter a Volstrax ambush and rise and deal damage. We don't know if 16-player lobbies are back. Anyway, we got sidetracked here. It was a funny moment though. I appreciate you guys for that one. It was very funny. So yeah, skill overloads. Most of you guys agreed with that. My other concern, and this time, and with this one, I'm doubly concerned because they didn't answer this question in the interview, and I don't know if they didn't answer it because they didn't want to answer it, or if they didn't answer the question because they didn't entirely understand what I was asking. But I made it very specific what I was asking. In the interview, I asked about the balancing between paid DLC and event quests. I specifically brought up weapon skins, which was a big concern of the community during Sunbreak. A lot of people were not happy with the amount of weapon skins that we got in in Sunbreak event quests because we didn't get that many, and then we got the Lost Code weapons and the plushie weapons and all of that stuff, and a lot of people weren't happy about it. So I specifically asked this one in the interview, but we didn't really get a good answer. All we got was that, hey, the layered armor system is back, and we're also going to make extra special paid layered armor that you'll be able to buy with real money. But they didn't really talk about the balance between paid DLC and event quests. I kind of feel you messed up by saying balancing. I didn't even say balancing. Did I say balancing? I forget what I actually said at that moment in the interview. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick.
Through the game, and then once you unlock it, you'll.
Oh, it's actually this one. Skins were only
In the back.
Players love getting rewards like weapon skins from event quests, but in Sunbreak, a lot of the more unique weapon skins were only available through paid DLC. See, I didn't even mention anything about balance. I straight up complained about the fact that a lot of the more unique weapons, and notice that I specifically said weapon skins. I didn't even say armor skins. I said weapon skins because I was looking for a very specific answer to this one, right? So I actually said weapon skins. What are your plans for Monster Hunter Wilds? But the answer...
The basic layered armor system, so-called transmog, will be unlocked at a certain point as you progress through the game, and then once you unlock it, you'll freely be able to create any layered armor that you want. We do also have plans to make some extra special layered armor that will be made available as paid DLC.
That was it. That was the answer. See, that's why I'm concerned. I don't know if they didn't properly understand the question or if they chose to kind of like dodge the question. I could have pushed for it. I wanted to push for it, but I felt like I was going to lose too much time with the translation. For those of you that aren't aware, I've mentioned it multiple times, but for the interview, I had 30 minutes, and 18 of those minutes were spent back and forth translating, so, you know, it was rough. Senior Bacon! You Giga Chad! Jesus Christ! Thank you so much for the souls, dude. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Here's a little towards the Ruri get a new laptop so he has one for the next con fun. What are your top 5 picks for returning monsters in wilds? Genmoran or Duranmoran. I would also like to see Atalka. I think it'd be cool. So Genmoran, Atalka, what else? I mean, I'm always gonna simp for my boy Basel, even though he's been in the last 2 games. So he might have to sit one out. Glavenus would be cool. I don't remember. Did we get Glavenus in Sunbreak? I don't think we did. So I like Glavenus. I don't know. I don't really think too much about returning monsters because usually I want newer monsters, you know? That's the way that I look at it. Volstrax would also be a good one, but Volstrax was already on Sunbreak, and I don't think Volstrax makes sense in a game like this. So actually, no, not Volstrax. As much as I like him, not Volstrax. Probably Zinogre. But Zinogre's in every game, though. Zinogre's like the most popular monster, so I don't know. But thank you very much for the souls, dude. I really appreciate it. Do you prefer paid layered armor or paid title update? It's not about... I think you misunderstand the point. I'm not against paid layered armor. I've never been against paid layered armor. As a matter of fact, that's one of the reasons why in that question, I was very specifically asking about weapons. The reason I was complaining about weapons is because Lost Code weapons were above your average weapon. They had a unique sheeting animation. And the plushie weapons also were above your average weapon in terms of quality. That's the problem. Like, if you give me weapons of comparable quality that I can layer in the game, I'm not going to complain about paid DLC. I don't care. It doesn't matter. This is why I didn't complain about paid DLC for armor, because there's comparable armor that you can armor of comparable quality that you can craft in the game. The reason why I complained about weapons is because Lost Code weapons are a tier above your regular weapons. And this is something that they've also reinforced with their response. They said we're going to have some extra special layered armor that we're going, will be available through paid DLC. And that I don't think is fair. Like, I think it's fine if you charge for layered armor. I think it's fine to support the development costs because we get really good support for these games. Let's make no mistake. We get really good support for Monster Hunter games. I don't have a problem with layered armor or layered weapons or anything like that. But I want to have things of comparable quality that you can get in the game. Evgeny, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Do we know where in Wilds takes place in the world? Nope. Maybe west of the New World, but we don't know. This is one way Final Fantasy XIV nails it. Yep, they do. I want layered handlers. Yeah, they sold those as well. I'm fine with that too. East? Okay, east of the New World. That's Gaijin's theory. Capcom swims in money. Paid DLC sucks in any case. I mean, the thing is, it's not like we all know, especially from games like you look at No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky has been able to update itself God knows how many different times for free. And, is it possible for Monster Hunter to do that too? Yes, but is it a viable business model? Probably not, because of the amount of money that they invest into making these games. That's the thing. So I don't mind them charging money for paid DLC, so long as there's a quality bar and there's comparable gear inside the game. Then I don't mind. Which is why I specifically complained about weapons. I know that there's another update for No Man's Sky. I'll eventually go over that one too. We'll look over that stuff. Source, trust me, bro. Anyway, that was another one of my concerns. Another thing that we already kind of talked about was how free Sacred is with sharpening, healing, eating, all of that stuff. So that is one of my concerns. And then we have gathering halls, which we don't know anything about gathering halls yet. This is one of the questions that I wanted to ask, but I ran out of time. So, you know, gathering halls, I don't know what gathering halls, if they are gathering halls, if they're going to, if they're going to be 4-player gathering halls, 16-player gathering halls. I hope we can get 16-player gathering halls again. I think that'd be really cool, but we'll see. What's your thoughts about paid voice pack? That's fine. We have plenty of voices in the game. I don't care. That's perfectly fine. No issues with it personally. Hope the base camp or towns count as gathering halls. They can, like if it works with Rise and Sunbreak, but I want a dedicated gathering hall. I think having a dedicated gathering hall is super important. And I think that Sunbreak suffered a lot because the fact that it didn't have a dedicated gathering hall. I think that a dedicated gathering hall is extremely important. Oh no, a Mr. Beast voice pack. Did we talk about monster hit points? I talked about difficulty, which I guess can be bottled into that. Do you think the Sacred will be a staple for the series, or will it be a one-time thing? I mean, I don't know, because considering we had Palamutes and now we have Sacreds, it looks like mounts will kind of like be a more permanent thing to the series, maybe. But what those mounts are might change depending on the game. But mounts definitely seem to be here to stay. Zero, they'll refer to it as Master Rank because it's been Master Rank for both World as well as Rise, so I don't see that changing. Paid monsters? No, you can never have paid monster DLC. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. Can you? Oh my god. Tiny? No. No. Damn it, Gaijin. But okay, those are my concerns. Now let's bring it over to your concerns. Let me refresh this. See how many we got right now. 859 comments. Jesus. So I made this post yesterday, which basically asks, what are your biggest concerns for Monster Hunter Wilds? So one of the most upvoted ones is, I would say that it's a game running smoothly and seamlessly. I'm overall confident that everything will be fine, but this game's very ambitious, so I'm hoping the Capcom didn't bite off more than they can chew. Referencing the IGN comment. That's interesting. That was a comment that IGN made, that Capcom bit off more than they can chew. So I guess performance is one of the big concerns. Now, I've said multiple times, I don't know if this game is going to run 60 FPS on a base PlayStation 5. I think that's going to be rough. I think the game running 60 FPS, a game that looks like this, on a base PlayStation 5, I don't know. I think you might be looking at 30 FPS target this time around, depending on the resolutions they target. I think that this version of the game was running at 1080p, and they put it at 30 FPS for stability's sake. But yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know if we're going to be getting 60 FPS on PS5. Since the quests are more freeform instead of departing them from the hub, do you think that different groups of hunters can run different quests in parallel in the same open world lobby? I have no idea. I think that if you're talking about current generation consoles, I think that's a tough ask, Evgeny. But thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. PS5 suffered with Dragon's Dogma 2. Yep. How can you not be worried about FPS with how Dragon's Dogma 2 launched? Because the reason, if you understand the reason why the Dragon's Dogma 2 had those problems, which was because of NPC AI bottlenecking the CPU. If you go to a Dragon's Dogma city, the main location where we had the frame rate issues, if you go to that city, there's probably like easily over 50 NPCs just roaming that city at any given time, making all kinds of different calculations, figuring everything out. By contrast, NPCs in Monster Hunter are much simpler. Right? Like an NPC in a Monster Hunter village, what is it going to do? Oftentimes, it's going to be like behind a counter to sell you stuff. Every now and then, you'll have some NPCs that actually roam around and whatnot, but there's not friggin' 50 of them. That's the problem. So I don't think that you're going to have as much problems with Monster Hunter as you did with Dragon's Dogma 2. But I could be wrong. I'm just saying that like a big reason why Dragon's Dogma 2 had the performance issues that it did was the AI of NPCs that are roaming the main capital city. So, yeah, the plague was the fix for the frame rate. Yeah, a bunch of people started butchering NPCs. They solved that frame rate issue. I'm going to be the one to say it, but I think the persistent health basically eliminates the ability to have a gathering hall unless it has a special instanced quest. No! I want a gathering hall. You mean the persistent aspect, I would imagine. Stable 30 FPS is perfectly fine. Yeah, I don't know if they're doing 30 FPS or what they're doing with all this, but yeah. The reason why we had issues with... Let me just put up the third live stream. The reason why we had issues with Dragon's Dogma 2, I don't think are going to impact Monster Hunter as much. But still, performance is a concern. I definitely agree. Especially considering it's the most upvoted comment. Biggest concern is it'll have me spending all of my time on the game and losing my job and relationships. Yeah, that's not something that I can bring back to Capcom, though. Co-op being a mess still. Should I need to wait for someone to finish the cutscene? Okay, so I already have that one. Multiplayer with new story objectives. That's pretty much what this stands for. Hope that it will have more content on launch than Rise did. Also, I hope the herd mechanic has something more to it. So, content, considering this has a ton of likes. Amount of content. I don't think this is something we need to worry about. Like, I feel like World did so much with... If you actually think back to World, I feel like a lot of people forget this, but World was literally 31 monsters and 5 maps. That was the game. If you actually think about Monster Hunter World, base World was 31 monsters and 5 maps. That's it. That's the game. And they did fantastic with it. I expect this one to have like 40 monsters in the beginning. That's my prediction. But I don't know. I don't actually know anything. Please don't take this and be like, oh, Rurikhan is officially confirmed. 40 monsters in the roster. Like, I did no such thing. Okay? Uncle Hobby, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. I'm worried about how janky co-op was in World because of cutscenes. Yep, that's one of the things. I'll just type in multiplayer cutscenes. Maybe that will be more explicit than what I had said. But yeah, that one's already there. Biggest concern right now is knowing the release date, not being able to join someone unless they've seen the intro cutscene. Damn, this one really is a big one. Endgame. We're gonna do like a vote at the end, by the way. Endgame, performance optimization, trivialized challenge mechanics are the sacred. So I have that one on difficulty. Cheat behavior. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to address this one. Anti-cheat behavior. Disparity between DLC, layered armor, and the others. This one's also here. RNG reliance for decorations. I haven't really talked about too much with RNG. I'm not overly concerned with RNG because of World. Like, I actually don't mind World's RNG as much nowadays. But I'm guessing a big portion of the community probably does. Are you worried about RNG? For decos / charms. I think that the RNG is going to be on decos. I think it's going to be just like World. I think we're going to get RNG decos. Rurikhan, why did I have to sub again for this stream? I have no idea, Rain. YouTube doesn't like me sometimes and gets rid of me. I'm sorry about that, but thank you for subbing. I appreciate you. I'm worried with RNG on armor upgrades. Oh, curious crafting? Ooh, yeah, curious crafting. Looks like we got a 50-50. Most people are actually not worried about RNG for decos and charms. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, let me ask something else. Let me ask something else. This is interesting. Would you like curious crafting to make a return? And I'm going to take a bio break while you guys answer that one. I'll be right back. Damn. Damn. Now that's what I like to see. 80%. Curious Crafting does not get the Monster Hunter community seal of approval. I'm gonna put Curious Crafting on the concerns. Isn't the plural of curio just curios? I don't know, dude. Worried about RNG weapons like from Kolv and Safi. Took me 5 years to finally roll a Kiar Buster Bomber. Banish that trend rule of RNG. Okay. Weapon, RNG, Kolv. I feel like Safi was not as bad. I think we need to talk about Kolv. Kolv is the one that was problematic. Safi, you could get most weapons reasonably. But yeah, Kolv was a problem. I'm fine either way. You should give that option. No. You can't be fine either way. It either is bad or is not. I have 1,800 hours on PlayStation, still no Kjar Strong Arm Ice. I remember that WADA. Bro, how long did you have to grind WADA to get that Kjar Strong Arm? Jesus Christ. I remember us grinding the crap out of that, and poor WADA never got it until the very end, I think. Safi was amazing. Yeah, Safi was cool. I liked Sieges. I think the Sieges were fun. I just didn't like the reward structure on Kolv. I thought it sucked. So, performance, okay. I'm worried about them revealing too much before the game comes out. I already expressed this. RNG on weapon, on decos and weapons, Kolv. Making it so that I can never fully complete a build. Really want diverse builds and wilds. Maybe... I'll put decos in there as well. Seems to be a concern for a lot of people. Weapon, deco, RNG. Really want diverse builds and wild. Sunbreak is some of the best build variety I've seen. Ooh. Most of you guys don't agree with that. Cutscenes preventing multi-story. Yep, talked about that. Skill variety. A lot of cool and weird skills. Mid-end game set building. So much fun. Damn. They're going to spoil 85% of the game before it releases. We already expressed this to the devs. That's just like, that's not something that we can change at this point. Performance is the #1 concern. 100% the end game. I know there's going to be an annoying RNG grind, but I really hope it's not terrible. I want the bulk of my time spent trying to get a couple of good sets, not endlessly grinding for one good set. This is a good point. Couple of good sets as opposed for one good set, which is kind of like what we had in Sunbreak. Hear me out. Nergi, Kolv to Roth should come back because Rule 34. Thumb comment, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support, thank you. Just had a thought. People keep saying Gamoth's too big for maps. Possible Gamoth could be some sort of pseudo siege quest. Maybe. Depends on whether or not we're going to have an ice map. Do you think Quick Sheet level 3 will be like Sunbreaks or Base World? I don't think you're going to need Quick Sheet this time around, but I don't know. Noob-friendly approach. I'm talking about the easy access to Sacred. Yep, we have that on the list. Need more info, whatever they did to Insect Glaive, no aerial because they wanted grounded, but apparently removed the grounded infinite Wait, Insect Glaive no longer has the ground infinite combo? I wasn't aware of that. What about weapons with skills? That's not really a concern. I think that's a good thing. It's gone? Interesting. Eric's has a video, it's still there. Yeah, so they probably changed the way that it works. You probably have to do triangle, circle midway through that combo at some point. That's probably what the problem is. Shields up, how are you doing? And we have Ice Map, one of the foods in your footage set protects from extreme hot and cold temperatures. That doesn't mean we have an ice map. It could just be something that they put in the game and then potentially the ice map comes with the expansion like Iceborne. I don't know. Not to mention that certain maps might have cold temperatures. Like, you remember some of the caves back in... What was it? Was it Freedom Unite? Some of the caves in Freedom Unite, you would actually need, like in the desert, you would need a cold drink on the outside, and then you need a hot drink if you were inside a cave. That's also potential. Where do you think Guard Up should be a skill built into Guard 5? No. Because it's a big investment, it's a big deal. No. Hope Lock-On will work like in World and Rise because I need it to play. What do you mean lock-on? Oh, right, there is actual camera lock-on. I think most of us don't use lock-on because it doesn't make a lot of sense, but... I hope that there will be, if you have, like, you know, accessibility problems and whatnot, I hope that there will be options to go around your specific accessibility situation so that you can go play the game. Behemoth King, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support. Thank you. I would like weekly bounties that gave rare item melding tickets to return because reward you for continued play with a guaranteed result. Yeah, weekly stuff was cool. I'm not going to say that that was bad. And it was optional, so. Biggest concern is that multiplayer lobbies will be chaos and people won't focus monsters well. What? It's much different to put up a hunt for a certain monster in all the gen games that just go out, beat something to start a quest. During a hunt establishes that that is the monster hunt, but in a less strict environment, I can see people wanting to hunt other stuff for their benefit and not helping out the host hunt. At that point, why even joining a lobby? This doesn't seem reasonable. Biggest concern is that I won't learn from world. I want every quest to be played during this period of time. If you want this cool... I want my quests to not be played during this period of time if you want cool weapon. Really hope we don't have another monster that drops like Safi Kolv, because not only do I find monsters dropping weapon random really boring, and not monster, they're so strong that it completely power creeps everything else. I guess we can add FOMO. Event FOMO. G1 Sunstreaker, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. Did you ever get around to checking out the Unnatural History channel? No, I haven't. Lack of gravity. The hunt should be a special thing that has an arc, preparation, initiation, middle, conclusion, epilogue. The joining random hunts experience, that's the true end game for me. Finding random lobbies. Well, we have the SOS flares. Yeah, this will have SOS flares. It was horrendous in Rise. Oh. Well, this is the World Director, so I think the game's going to be more like World, so I don't think we have to worry too much about that. Yeah, I think this will be more like World. I wouldn't be too worried. The removal of aerial playstyles for both Insect Glaive and Dual Blades. And I guess a lot of people actually care about aerial Insect Glaive. Fine, I'll put it up for a vote. I'm just putting it up for a vote. Not having Gargway in it? Yeah, sure. Lack of commitment when you strike with a weapon. I guess we could tie that up to difficulty in general. As player PC, DRM, if they don't smooth out performance, that's all tacked into performance. Concerned about monster difficulties. We hunters keep more powerful moves in Sacred. How can the monsters keep up? Difficulty. So again, it's the difficulty concern. Biggest concern is that we're gonna back to random deco farming. Okay, that's already in there. Biggest concern is them revealing too much. Already expressed that. I guess I can put that there. Too much reveals, too many reveals in trailers. Will the player slot be locked if one gets disconnected like World? I would imagine that's not going to be the case. That was probably a limitation of the first time that they tried doing that more, you know, jump in, jump out system, and it didn't work out properly. Decorations being the end game. I'm concerned about hunting horn, hold buffs. Oh, this is the hunting horn thing? I don't like this. Is anybody concerned about the hunting horn thing? We're going to call that the pocket horn thing. I've heard it being referred to as pocket horn. For those who don't know, there's this thing in the community that a lot of people are concerned about hunting horn buffs remaining after you swap weapons. Personally, I'm not concerned. I asked this question in the interview because I saw that it was a big topic in the community. And I was like, hey, the community wants to know. I'll ask them so that we get to know. And it was. Like, people even quoted me on Reddit and shit. And I was like, a big deal for a bit. But, like, to me, it's not really a big deal because I just look at it as like, bro, do I really want to go back to Sacred, pull out a horn, jump out, buff a bunch of songs, and then go back to Sacred and swap weapons and do this, like, what, every 90 seconds or something like that? Is this really a big deal? I don't care. I don't care. That's too much maintenance. It's not worth it. The time that you're wasting, you know, doing the buffs and shit, that's time that you're not dealing damage to the monster. And the damage that those buffs are going to add to you is probably not going to be enough to make up for the time that you're losing on the monster. So I don't think this is a big deal, but I'm going to ask you guys if you think that pocket horn is a problem. Is pocket horning a concern for you? Yes or no? I think that speedrunners are going to do some degenerate shit with it, don't get me wrong. But let's face it, speedrunners is what? Less than 10% of the community? Who cares? Let speedrunners do what speedrunners do. That's their thing. That's their thing. So, in my opinion, I think you're wasting time doing that. But, you know. Yeah, it doesn't sound 1 to 5 minute. But wait, do buffs on the hunting horn last 5 minutes? Damn. Yeah, I'm not doing it. Like, if I'm playing Hunting Horn, it's because I want to play Hunting Horn and I want to, like, drop some sick beats on the monster. I'm not playing no Pocket Horn. Might be more of a concern in 4 people hunts. Why? Just have somebody play the Hunting Horn. Some last 3 minutes, some last 4 or 5. Yeah. K plays here. Thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Part of the concern is that the weapon's getting a ton, but the community at large doesn't seem to know anything besides the pocket horn thing. Yeah, I agree. The weapon actually looks fun as hell to play. I don't give a damn about using it for pocket horn. If I'm using it, I want to drop some sick beats. That's what I want to do. Give them the beats and dropping the beats. You know? Hunting horn is so fun. The only reason people don't play it is because they see it as a support weapon. Not really. The only reason I don't play it is because I play the gun lance. Gun lance is my weapon. But I like hunting horn. Hunting horn's fun. This is true, like Ark is saying. Like, we're all focusing on pocket horning like it's this big deal, when the reality is you bring up, like, a fucking heavy bow gun. It's like, yeah, bro, you go ahead and you pull out your little horn and you play your little tunes. I'm gonna be over here dropping actual fucking nukes on this monster with my heavy bow gun. Pow, pow. It's like, bro, no, dude. No, dude. It's not happening. It is not goofy. Hunting horn is not goofy. I think that a lot of people sleep on a hunting horn. It's a really fun weapon. Do you think you would have used the hunting horn buffs like this for Fatalis, like used Fortify if it was an Iceborne? Hell yeah. For Fatalis? Yeah, I totally would have done that. Yep. 100%. Yep. I would. But that's like such a niche situation, right? Should the whole game be balanced around me using hunting horn buffs for Fatalis? No. Because, yeah, I did all the degenerate things for Fatalis, bro. Like, the way that I killed Fatalis on my first solo kill, it was like the dude in the friggin' with the board that's chock full of pictures. What do you call those? Like the criminal investigation board? It was like him. It was like, listen, here's how we do this. We equip Fortify, then we go in with a great sword and we fire the cannons with heavy artillery, and then we true charge slash until we die. Then we go back, we pick up the clutch cannon, and we clutch cannon until we die. Then we go back and we pick up the sword and shield, and then we kill them. It's like, what? No, dude. Biggest concern by far is the main hub being a pain to traverse. Astera sucked. Astera was fine. Would you like to see Fatalis, Crimson Fatalis, and White Fatalis, and Wilds? I wouldn't mind seeing Fatalis again. But Fatalis is not the most interesting monster to me personally. I thought it was a cool capstone hunt, so to speak, to put the lid on Iceborne. But Fatalis is not my favorite monster. It's never been. Let's see, what else? So I guess not that many people are worried about pocket horn, so I don't have to worry about that. Community building aspect, which made World so popular. How they can keep on building on the sense of companionship. Will we have a gathering hub? I already have that in there. That's the game. Will continue this trend of slowly making this series easier. Already have that in there for difficulty. That I don't have a 5,000 series. That's performance issues. Certain second weapon, missing out on too many decos since we're equipped for this first weapon. F. Jenny, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat, appreciate support. Thank you. The team has already said they have a plan for dealing with that. So this is already something that's on their radar. So me pointing this out to them is going to just be redundant. They've already said that they have a system in place for dealing with the fact that you have 2 weapons. We don't know exactly what that system is. They haven't explained it yet. But this is something that the team is already aware of. Amount of monsters and content. So we already have that, right? Amount of content. Yep. Thinking back, the base world felt kind of short till Iceborne. Yep. Concerned they'll reveal all the monsters. Yet too many reveals in trailers. Commitment to attacks feeling less important, at least from the gameplay I've seen so far. This is kind of like difficulty. It's like we have to be able to boil things down into something that can just be easily explained to the team. Kind of where the follower system will work like it in Sunbreak, forced me to do main stories, quests with NPCs. Yep, we have something about that as well. Multiplayer because of companions. Balanced roster element and gear-wise, and where there was a lot of fire monsters. Okay. Elemental roster balance, I guess. But the best gunlance ended up being one of the joke designs. This is fine. Corn Popper was amazing. I have no idea what you're talking about. Listen, if anybody has a problem with the Corn Popper, let me tell you, okay? Let me tell you. You got a problem with the Corn Popper? Let me show you the Corn Popper, okay? Where was it? Here it is. You guys have a problem with the Corn Popper? Watch this. Look at the Corn Popper, bro. Look at it go. Block. Boom. Boom. No. The dunk. The disrespect. Look at it. The glory of the Corn Popper. Boom! Block! The glory of the Corn Popper, baby! Get the hell out of here! You guys see that shit? That's what I gotta tell you about the Corn Popper. Corn Popper's amazing, bro. What do you mean? Should have not posted my question during Gunline's crap. You'll never see it. Let me see. My problem with the Corn Popper is that they remove the corn pop sound. I want to know why they're changing the damage calculation to include decimal. Seems like a great change, but what are the good implications from that change? I think that the decimal calculation, I've heard like Paradise had a discussion about this with Jono in their live stream, and I didn't completely understand it, but it seems like the decimal numbers are more accurate than the actual numbers, and of course, they're more accurate because they have the decimals, but there seems to be another element to it, almost as if the normal damage is a little bit more bloated than the decimal damage. I don't actually know how that stuff works. I don't get too in-depth with damage calculations and shit like that. But there is another aspect to it besides just adding the decimal values. But I don't know exactly what it is. Never used decimals before will help lower end elemental damage differentiation, but the answer is why now? I guess maybe because they want to make element more meaningful? I don't know. But yeah, I don't know why they did it. I don't actually have an answer to that. Weapon design. Takes a while before you start seeing different weapon designs. To poke stick and weapon designs were a concern for World. That's actually one of the questions that I had, but I ended up not using it because it's not as important as some of the other stuff I asked. Insect Glaive, after looking at the changes, I expect everyone else to be fine. Yeah, we already have that one. Biggest concern is that they push forward service game monetization direction. We have that. Low rank will be too easy. We have that too. Monetization has me worried. We have that. I want to know if they intend to stick with DLC expansion model. I'm a fan of the amount of content they add in one purchase model. I'm excited to see what else they can do with it. Be kind of sad if it left. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the case. I would expect it to still be G rank expansion. I don't see that changing. Weapon designs. Biggest concern for me is I'm afraid catering to the newer player will subject an easier experience. Okay, difficulty. Yep. Biggest concern to things. Impact feels a bit different. This is mostly because of looking at the footage. This is not a problem. The feeling of impact feels great in this game. Is using RE engine. Seamless World might break the game's performance. Like Dragon's Dogma 2, we have performance on there already. Performance, Insect Glaive, the fact that Parent can't bounce back. Combat will devolve into focus mode being the highest damage combos. That's not going to be the case. I can already tell you that's not going to be the case because of what I've played of the game so far. So that's not even a concern you should have. Unless they drastically change everything that we've experienced in the game, in the build, that's not a problem. It's worried about optimization for the most part. So that's performance, PC performance. Suppose small roster is a big concern. Quantity of content that's already on there. Performance. Where the hell's Insect Glaive? Man, a lot of people are upset. Gaijin, as an Insect Glaive enjoyer, give us your thoughts on how you feel about the Insect Glaive losing the bounce back ability. You and I actually got into it this under one of your videos, but focus mode seems like a stark departure, although I have thought about it and isn't different than clutch claw mechanically, just executed and better. This will make it negatively... This negatively affect the flow of the hunt. I also fear that hunters are too powerful, so the difficulty thing, I'm afraid streamlining complex with storied franchise, doing away with systems that invite the players to improve themselves externally. Preparation. Do I have something that's kind of... Actually, preparation is a good point. Preparation. I'll add preparation aspect. The co-op story progression would be like World, where you need to watch cutscenes before others can join. Yep. They don't reveal too much of the monsters. Yep. Lance and gun lance hop changes. Okay, this one is so specific. Can't wait any longer. Insect Glaive. Okay. First open world, run poor like Dragon's Dogma 2, performance. Event FOMO, Insect Glaive Aerial being gutted. Release state, I want the same amount of variety in environments that World had at launch, at least 5 giant zones to start out with, and I hope those environments, extreme weathers really change things up so that those zones feel like beasts of themselves. End game, budget Wilds is taken from Dragon's Dogma 2. Oof! Itsuno's already left, dude. Sorry. A lot of people were asking me how I feel about Itsuno leaving, and it's like, bro, I didn't want Itsuno to leave, but he left. All I can say is that I hope that he does well wherever he goes. That's all I can really say. I hate the fact that he left, because Itsuno did fantastic games. Mayimbe, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. Concerns for Arena. Arena was well done in Rise. I feel they could expand on it like For You Arena and have cosmetics and accolades for times. I mean, Arena and Rise is almost the same thing as Arena and World, I feel. Yeah, Kegrin, that's right. A lot of people used to tell you not to do that. Gotta level Red Mage. That is your thoughts on... There's your Gaijin thoughts on Insect Glaive. I need to go level my Red Mage. I'm joking. Who is Itsuno? Itsuno was the game director of Dragon's Dogma 2. He left Capcom. What else? Health bar is a little weird. Size of it makes it hard to determine how much health. I've actually seen a lot of people talking about the health bar. Squiggly health bar. I think that the health bar is a thing that, like, after you play 3 hours... my greatest concern is the gap between the Hunter and the non-title update. Monsters being as large as it was in Rise and Sunbreak. So, content updates. Don't bring more Frontier monsters they don't bring back the magnet spike and overall low performance. Low monster kind of like base world. So I'm out of content. Difficulty, power creep, and endgame mostly give some of us older hunters the challenge they want. I personally don't want to breeze through the game. Yes, difficulty. More difficulty. Decorations, not necessarily our major but list concerns. Jesus! Okay, that's too much. You've asked too much, bro. Too much, and a lot of this is already here, so we're good. I need to see all the Insect Glaive can do. Removal of a lot of commitment behind attacks. Difficulty. My understanding, broken parts will reward only the person who broke the part? What? What? When we gained the ability to just stay in the air forever, it took the weapon into the realm of goofy. Killed the overall allure of the weapon since people saw it as a meme weapon. I don't think only the person that breaks the wound gets the material. I don't think that would make any sense. I need to check these videos for that answer, though. I'm gonna point this down for me to check up on it. Part break multiplayer rewards. That is crazy if only one person gets it. But I don't think that's the case. Focusing on more combos with against people where they can actually aim their attacks is better given their weak spot system. Yeah, see, Gaijin likes it. The game may be focused too much on DPS at the expense of fun. The removal of aerial glaive. Yep. Making gameplay more stressful than previous games. Button timed attacks. Oh, mashing. Wait, I don't think that dual blades is actually button timed. I thought it was, but I don't think it is. So I guess Antonio doesn't like sword and shield. So many changes. I may not have a weapon I can use to play the game in my... Whoa! Forced to skip wilds? Damn. I'm sorry to hear that. Jeez. Antonio just lost all of his hype for wilds. That sucks. I'm sorry. If they removed all the aerial stuff would suck, but the aerial is still there. Mounting seems to be Insect Glaive's main perk again. The backwards jump now aerial style trajectory, which is huge. Variety mostly, I'd say my number one concern might be too gimmicky. First you got the sacred, that's too gimmicky. Okay. Sacred stuff. Scared game's gonna be too easy with these new mechanics. Difficulty, sword and shield lose more of its identity, stays less cool. The other weapons showed. Bro, did you guys see Jono play sword and shield on the Eric's Boys stream? That was insane. Jono was just like killing it. It was amazing. I loved sword and shield. I don't agree with that. Only flaw I can think of is new armor change can fully change appearance in hunters without paying for it. Yeah, we can. Oh no, wait. The appearance of hunters, no. That's going to still need tokens. Elemental balance. Biggest concern, the removal of much of the commitment of weapons. Focus mode will either make my game too easy. Difficulty. Some kind of drawback to 77 degrees in DCS. This focus mode, again, difficulty. Swappable set of skills. I don't like the idea of just straight up swappable set of skills. I'm looking forward to what the team has to say about that, but I don't like the idea of just swap a bunch of skills. No parry for the bow. Bro, what the fuck? My man wants to parry with bow. Come on now. What? You already have perfect dodges. That's like a parry. Console performance, casualization, MTX weapons. Okay, we have all those already. The internet will spoil the entire roster. Event FOMO, hunting horn. Everybody using the hunting horn as pocket horn. Seamless hunting. Wonky setup like worlds. We already have that in there. two big concerns. We're going to lean more into super serious, realistic monster art design, something heavily lean towards where most gear the spectrum. Their stories, Dark Souls, and very goofball fun designs. Can we please, for love of Fatalis, not get a repeat situation with the overabundant bone metal slap-on skin designs, so weapon designs, that's also there. Insect Glaive losing aerial dominance. Biggest thing for me is the fact that they're making the game more casual, so difficulty. Sound design of some of the heavier weapons. Hits VFX and SFX PC performance. Can't do floor is lava. The endgame system is will not make us use of the free roam look so much fun instead of forcing her back to the village hub to select quests. Say besides performance, my concern would be a new gear system. I don't know how they'll balance armor set bonuses. Devs adding another mandatory elemental damage check, but come on, bro! Gee, people, this guy is still PTSD from friggin' Alatreon. How's that even possible? PTSD from Alatreon in 2024. Bro, it's 2024. Come on now. Jesus Christ. The Alatreon PTSD. Cheap artificial difficulty spikes like that. My God, bro. Eschaton Judgment in 2024. Come on, man. Curious the game will approach NPC hunters if we'll use NPCs to the story. Yeah, we have that one in there as well. Perfect blocking being broken. This is about as broken as counters. On Horn's community perception, the existence of the weapon swap feature. Okay, there are quite a few people that are worried about the pocket horn situation. I'll put that up. Pocket horn. Without allowing everyone to wear armor sets where they'll excuse monetize more layered unique weapon skins. That's already in there. They fixed my hunting horn. Ton of concern. Gonna handle elemental damage. We have that in there. Weapon design. Advanced access. Oh god, early access. I'm actually putting that one on there. Early access sucks. And we're playing a game in early access today. Because after this stream, we're playing Space Marine 2. Slight concern of mine, perfect guards will be worse than adept dodges. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Difficulty in certain microtransactions. Yep, we have that. Health and stamina bar designs. I'm kind of like scrolling a little bit faster because I have to do the pull. I have to do the pull because we're running out of time. I think we're good. I think we have a lot here. We're only going to be able to get like 10 of these selected by you guys anyway. So I think we're good. So we're going to go and we're going to do this poll. Because this can't be done on YouTube because YouTube has a limit of like 4 or something like that. So we're going to be adding these. Difficulty. I think animation canceling is maybe too niche. So multiplayer. Cutscenes and companions. So like this is like a big one, but it's basically whether or not there's enough incentive for people to play multiplayer with other players versus just playing it with companions. Skill overload. Even though I say skill overload, it would be easier to just call it skill bloat. I think more people understand it like that. Balance of paid DLC and event quest rewards. Actually, I just call it paid DLC versus event quest rewards balance. And I will probably post this thing even after the stream. But I want to get you guys' input, so we need to make sure that you guys vote on this when it's done. We shouldn't call it sacred sharpening, but just like sacred KOL sharpen, eat, heal, or free. Gathering Hall. For 16 minigames. Because we want to get minigames on those as well. I have dev diaries in here, but that's not overly performance. By the way, these aren't in order. That's the point. You guys are going to order them now. Amount of content. End game. I wish I could give everybody 3 votes. I hope that there's a way to let people choose 3 options or something like that. I don't think there. Allow selection of multiple options. Oh, nice. This is, oh my god, this is so good. Yeah, you guys get to choose 3 of these. 3 of these. Endgame, Weapon Deco RNG, Colv, Curious Crafting. Whoops. Curious Crafting. Event FOMO. Aerial Insect Glaive. Too many reveals and trailers. Elemental roster balance. Should add monster roster balance. Fabio, thank you very much for the souls. Tip of the hat. Appreciate support. Thank you. Hot take. Monster Hunter has always been a casual game in Japan. Here in the West, we see Monster Hunter as a hardcore game. Nothing is changing in the eyes of the devs. Okay. I don't know what to say to that. I wouldn't say that it's a hardcore game. It is just a game that we play in a hardcore way. Let's see. Elemental monster, roster balance, weapon designs. Preparation aspects of hunt. Squiggly health bar. Pocket horn. And early access. So our objective is to filter this down to 10 things. 10 things. 1 vote per IP address. Block VPN users. No cheating! Use reCAPTCHA? No, dude, that's terrible. Create. Create poll. There you go. So I guess I just do this. You guys should be able to just go in here and vote, right? Yep. So you can go ahead and vote. For me, I think I'd go difficulty. And then skill bloat. And sacred quality of life. All right. Let's see those votes coming in, boys. I should also tweet about this. And let me grab an image for my thumbnails, like that. There. I should also post it on YouTube. come on. What's wrong? Oh, now it woke up. Jesus, that took a while. Basically trying to get as much feedback as possible on this. Where did the straw poll go? And then I'm going to be forwarding this to Jono so that everybody can vote on it and all of that stuff. But these would be like the biggest concerns of the community, basically. So if you guys can spread this with your friends and all of that stuff, and I will be sure to pass this off to Jono. Because that's like the whole point. Rurikhan JCan just posted his first ever successful Gunlance Alatreon run. Seems like a pretty cool, awesome. Oh, dude, I gotta go see that. Alatreon was definitely a vibe to do with Gunlance. To be honest, it should be just 5 boats. Everybody will do performance plus difficulty. That's fine. You get 3 votes because I want to make sure that whatever you choose is the most important thing for you. Not everybody is choosing difficulty. You got to keep that in mind. There's a lot of people that actually don't want the game to be harder. So not everybody is choosing difficulty. Yes, I'll link it again. I should pin the link. Pin. There you go. It's pinned in there. Make sure to get your votes in and all of that good stuff. It looks like right now the top 10 is looking like difficulty, performance, paid DLC versus quest rewards, balance, weapon, and deco RNG. Skill bloat. I'm be real. I didn't expect skill bloat to be this high. Considering the amount of people that told me to go pound sand when I complained about the Fatalis armor, I didn't expect skill bloat to be this high. Multiplayer cutscenes and companions. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Amount of content is actually the last one right now. This is very interesting. These are very interesting results. Yes, Acrylic, the dogs did offer the same utility in Rise, but it was also something that we were concerned about. But anyway, guys, I need to take a quick break because immediately after this stream, we're going to be jumping into Space Marine Warhammer 2. Now, I can't start playing it until the top of the hour. We're going to start the stream early so that people can join in. This stream will automatically take you there when I finish the stream if you guys want to hang out for some Space Marine 2 stuff. We're going to be purging the Xenos. We're gonna get rid of some heresy, destroy some heretics. But yes, I wanted to make sure that we got some concerns down that I can hopefully pass on to the team. And you know, if this has any influence in them, then good. If not, then you know, it was still an interesting thing so that we know where the community stands right now with their concerns. But thank you all very much, for hanging out, and I'll see you guys in a bit, in about 15 minutes. Stay strong, stay safe. Peace out.